All right, and we are here with an episode of Savage Season, the podcast. I'm super excited today because when I think about Savage Season, I have to think about Ashley, my former roommate, my bestie, all the way from LA. I had to make sure I got her on an episode before we travel, and so I'm super excited. Say hi to the people, Ashley.
Hi, people.
Okay.
This is not my comfort zone, but we're here.
We're super excited to talk a little bit about your story. I really wanted to start off with just like talking about Savage Season because I really don't talk about it in any of the other episodes. But when I say like I think about Ashley when I think about like Savage Season, because she was definitely there like at the beginning of like me writing the book, of the title, of the name, of making logos. So Ashley, like when we were going through that process, I guess like what did Savage Season mean for you, or even like coming to that point where we decided to make it like an era or a movement for ourselves? What did that mean for you?
I feel like Savage Season was a unique period of time where we were choosing our independence, we were choosing our freedom, we were choosing ourselves first, which is a common theme that has then continued since then.
Very true.
We were unapologetic, we were very confident, bold, and we just didn't care what was happening. We didn't care what was happening, and we had control of the narrative. So it was just a very fun, freeing, elevating time that I think kind of has lingered with us throughout the years.
Very true. People are always like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you out of." I remember a guy was like, "I'm gonna take you out of Savage Season," and I was just like, ugh, "Why would I want to leave Savage Season?"
No
like,
one could take us out of Savage Season because you can be codependent, you can be in love, you can be a lot of things, but also keep your Savage Season.
Right. Always keep your independence, keep what you got going on. So that's why Ashley's like a great person to even bring on here, because we're going to get into mostly about like her career and your journey that you've done in LA, which is super exciting. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So this episode, we really want to look at freestyling your life. And so what does that look like for you? What does that statement kind of mean?
Freestyling your life in general to me means that I never really have a plan. I'm a very organized person in the sense of I know what I expect for myself. I know that I want to live a certain life. I know that it's going to involve money. I know that it's going to involve me being treated a certain way. But I don't have this, I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be XYZ. I've kind of always just freestyled based on my mood, my personality, the talents, the gifts I've been given during that time period, my networking skills, what doors are open, I jump right in them. So there's never really a plan. Even to this day, when people are like, what do you do? What's everything you do? Like, I don't have a direct answer, but it's worked for me so far.
So how is that like growing up in your house? Because your mom is in healthcare. She's a nurse. She's also a foreign mother, as we say, because she's Panamanian. So what is that?
Afro-Latina.
Okay. But what is it like growing up in a household and telling like your parents and your dad who's black too, like I don't necessarily know what I want to do, but I'm gonna figure it out.
So I feel like
were they supportive?
Immigrant parents are one, there's no, you got to work for what you want at the end of the day. So, like, whatever you want to do, you're going to put in the work. My dad has always been supportive. My dad, as long as I'm waking up and smiling, is not going to ask too many questions. My mom, on the other hand, I'm her baby. She's going to want to make sure I'm good. But she also is an immigrant and entrepreneur. So she came over here, started her own business, merchant case management, the OG, and literally became very successful off that. But during that time, experienced, not having the insurances or not having the support from a normal corporation, or like she went through all the troubles of a business owner. So her mindset was more of protecting me from her mistakes. And if I wanted to be independent or anything that I wanted to do, she just wanted to make sure that I didn't repeat anything that she quote unquote failed at, which she never did. So she was very supportive, but at this point she trusts the process. So even on my worst days in 2024, I may be going through a whole bunch of stuff, but she's like, you know what? One thing Ashley's going to do is pull through and figure it out and go to the next level. So she trusts it now.
That part. I love that. Shout out to Linda. See you, Linda. Okay, so what exactly, when you first were starting in your career, what did you go into? You could talk about like what you majored in and what you thought you would be doing, and then what you actually got into, like your first job, and then jumping into your career.
So I wanted to go into marketing. I'm a creative-based mindset. I wanted to do something fun, more drawing, maybe like the actual doing the creative.
I always be like, she went to school for crayons.
Stayed in art class. I was an art major, double art major in art, fine art and communications, but I knew that was going to translate into marketing. I also like psychology. So I feel like psychology and marketing play hand in hand. So marketing was my avenue for both of those. I eventually went in post-college. I dabbled in the music space, which is a different direction that I have now re-entered into my life and brought back in now. But I did a creative internship at Diff Jam, but that was one chapter. After that, I literally was a marketing assistant for a couple of jobs, and ended up then becoming a buyer for this retail company in the marketing space. And then through that, I ended up getting into the retention marketing space, which is where I'm in now.
What does that mean, retention marketing?
This day and age, it's the digital marketing. When everyone's saying I do digital marketing, there's a lot in digital marketing, and it's very trendy right now. Retention marketing is email and SMS management. So all of your favorite brands.
Wow, Fashion Nova sending me 100
Fashion
emails.
Nova sending you those 100 emails a day. And guess what? Someone sending those 100 emails a day is getting paid $200K a year to send them. So while you're deleting, we're getting paid.
I'm unsubscribing every single time.
We're getting paid. So between that and then all the SMS, the text messages that you get to your phone, that is my niche. So if anyone wants a nice digital marketing job, go ahead and become retention marketers, because there's no minorities there. There's no Black women. It's a very unique space. So I'm going to just throw that shout out there, because I didn't know about it growing up until later on.
So how did you hear about it?
Shout out to Jim, my redheaded boss, Jim, who was the head of the marketing department for one of my first jobs. He called me in his office one day. He said, "You know what, Ashley, do you want to learn this skill?" And I said, yes. And it changed my whole career. One person showing me something new changed my whole career path. So, literally.
That's crazy. So with you learning about it, once you were already in the career, did you ever hear about it when you were in school and in education?
No, you're not going to hear about it in school. It's a whole lane of specific marketing. So when a brand is selling something, there's going to be retention marketing. So there's going to be email. There's going to be paid ads, which is targeted website ads. There's going to be Amazon Marketplace and Facebook marketing. Everything that I just listed is a $100K plus salary-based job that there are multiple people doing on the back ends, in-house and agencies. There's a whole lane of opportunities that we really don't know about. It's a very niche space, but fun and great. And people always need us, but you just have to know about it to get into it.
So have you done corporate and also, I guess, what is it, more independent people who have their own businesses? Have you gotten into working with influencers?
I think that kind of goes back into this freestyling path where I've always had a 9-to-5. I'm a big believer in a 9-to-5. I know our generations love to be independent, have our own businesses, but a 9-to-5 is going to give me that insurance, is going to give me that consistent paycheck every week that I can then invest into my dreams and everything else. So I'm a big 9-to-5er. I do play around with remoteness. I'm usually remote. I have a very flexible schedule in this industry. And then on top of that, to make sure that we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket, I've always freelanced on the side. I've dabbled into doing a whole bunch of influencer brands, projects of my own, working with people who are creating their own agencies. So there's a lot that you do when you're in the retention space, because you have flexibility to do more jobs, more than one job at one time.
Nice. Okay, so you seem like you do a lot.
I do. I do.
So let's talk about, what does it look like growing in your career? So when you talk about in the corporate space and the 9-to-5s, we had the conversation just about moving up, and I brought up a story where my dad, he'll call me and be like, "Oh, so are you trying to look to be a director? Are you trying to be in the C-suite level?" And right now, it's not always attractive to, I feel our generation right now, because it's more responsibility, and it's not necessarily always more money if it doesn't allow you to also make that money on the side. So what are your thoughts about that?
So I'm a firm believer in my life, work and play balance. I'm going to work kind of hard. Mind you, I'm excellent at what I do. At this point in my career, I have years, but I'm an expert at my craft. So I'm going to make sure that my work and play balance is 100% aligned, and that I have more time to actually enjoy life these days than focus on working. Not to get it confused, because this younger generation sometimes don't want to be putting in the work.
They don't.
And we have put in the work. It's a little different. So I've worked to get to this point. But I feel like success in my life now, I just turned down a VP position of retention because I didn't want that much work. I didn't want that responsibility. I took a position that was one step under, still top level, but I don't need to be the overarching because, and it's not even about like not putting in the work. It's just like I want to make sure I keep prioritizing myself and that I had that freedom, flexibility, and that I know that I can give 100% to what I'm comfortable with, and that other people who are willing and excited to step up on that another level have that chance. Like, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
And I think that's just like a new, like almost like a new norm that's happening now, is that people are looking at, okay, let me look at the numbers first, and then let me look at the responsibilities.
And the numbers are great. And you hear this when you get older, like, yes, money is great. It creates, money is happiness a lot of times. I'm not, whatever that saying is, no, money makes me happy.
Yeah.
But you get to a certain level and you also appreciate your freedom. Like, I promise you, the job that I was looking at was $100K more, but it still wasn't, that wasn't going to make up for the late nights, the weekend working, which again, I've done in the past, but like at this point, I don't need that right now.
Right.
I don't. I want to have time to spend my money. No.
That part. Okay, so what do you spend your money on now? Because you like to travel a lot. Ashley go more places than me, which is rare.
I do like traveling. I like traveling. That's probably my biggest expense. I'm not a big purse girl. Been getting into jewelry a little bit.
You have been dabbling into jewelry. You have anything on your wrist right now that you like to show?
And a little diamond piece that was very nice.
Yeah, big Ashley.
It's a nice year this year, but outside of that, experiences. We love experiences. I went to Egypt last year, Japan. I haven't traveled as much this year because I broke my leg, but we're recovering and we're hopping on a flight to Africa. As soon as I was able to walk, we're hopping on that flight.
Ashley, can you actually, I didn't have that in our notes, but can you please
tell them? To be in the notes.
Can we tell the people how you broke your leg, please?
A contributing factor to putting yourself first and your happiness and freestyling your life is getting into intramural sports when you're 30 plus years old. And I happened to break my leg playing soccer because I was that committed to the sport.
I'm so ambitious.
And we broke it. We had surgery. And we're here 7 months later frolicking.
Amazing. We love an active girl. We love a gym girlie.
I don't know. We're going into pickleball into the new year. Real safe.
I hope you do something safe. We don't have time for another broken leg. Okay, so let's go back into personal life. So how else, like, how do you manage to balance? So I know you talked about making sure that your career isn't so many responsibilities that it's not cutting into that time. What are other aspects of your personal life that you like to prioritize?
I think self-care. I nap daily. It's a very important part of my life.
Such a sleepy house.
From 2 to 3 PST. Anyone listening, please do not call nor text me because I will be napping. The normal stuff, I live in LA. I like to be active. I like to be outside. I think any times that I don't put that first and I stop working out or stop having these mental breaks, I notice it because I get anxiety quick. I'm an anxiety girl. And I need a decompressant. So between that, hanging out with my friends, normal stuff, nothing groundbreaking, but just kind of having that time set aside. And as a remote worker, just going outside and not being in the house all day because we can easily do that too.
That's big facts. People always, you always outside. You don't like being in the house. I'm a remote worker and I'm in the house Monday through Friday.
That's actually a great way to put it. Like, we're always in the house.
Always.
Just not when y'all in the house. Sorry.
That part, literally. But we're always in the house. I'm always looking at myself. It is me, myself, and I for multiple hours throughout the day.
Very true.
So when the weekend comes, or even like out after work, like
after work, another big thing. We don't need to be waiting for the weekends to be enjoying our life and to be going out and enjoying ourselves. Like, you guys, the mindset. What are we waiting for Saturday and Sunday for when there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
That part.
Like, you have to enjoy every day.
It reminds me of Summertime Shy. A time.
Summertime Shy is great. As we both departed from Chicago. Look, those are our roots, but Summertime Shy is undefeated.
Summertime Shy.
It's a good time.
People that do not live in Chicago, let me tell y'all what it's like.
You won't get it.
You won't, like, it is such, like, living outside of Chicago, living in a warmer climate. She's in LA, I'm in Dallas. It is literally like Summertime Shy, like, year round. Literally. Like, you have something to do every single day.
Well, people are more excited in Chicago because we also suffer through winter.
I know, because
like,
through winter.
It's more rewarding in Summertime Shy because they actually appreciate the couple months that we get.
It is. That's why people are outside like that, yes. That's true.
Yeah.
I want to talk about probably the best time that we had during summertime, Shy. And I feel like it was at the beginning because I was still, or it was at the end because I was still teaching in school. So when I say like me and Ashley together in one city, a time, because she was at all the industry events, I had all the African in the club events.
It's a great balance.
It was such
I don't
a
understand
great
the balance, but it was just
it
it just worked.
was such a great balance.
A very good balance.
Like it was definitely like we were in our socialite bag. It was one year we were really in our socialite bag, and I remember she like texted me while I was like literally at school about to teach, and she's like, it's this party. Sign up to get. I'm sending you the RSVP,
Here's
and I'm
the
like,
link.
here's the link. And this was the beginning of like when the liquor events were happening, and it was the Martell event. And Ashley was like, "This is how you got to be here. We got to meet at this secret space." And I was like, "What secret space is this?"
Yes.
They put over the school bus, and we ended up at Jimmy Butler House, and.
A performance by Wale.
It
It
was
was
a performance by
sporadic.
Wale. Like, I don't even know who we were.
It was a great, intimate, beautiful time.
That was one of the best nights I ever had, and I had to teach at like 8:30 the next morning, and we didn't get in until like 4 o'clock. But it was like a time like when you think about living your life, and like it was.
We
like
also didn't have expectations of that night.
We didn't.
And I think when you don't have expectations and stuff, also it makes things more enjoyable because you're not like putting pressure on the situation. So we weren't going out being like, we're applying this to life also, get the double message. We're not going out being like, oh my God, tonight's gonna be amazing, blah, 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 blah. We need to do X, Y, Z. No, we literally were just organically going out and got surprised by how good of a time we had, which made it that much better.
I literally went and bought like a pair of work pants or like an outfit to go because I was still in my teacher outfit. So I went to Akira real quick. Okay. I went to Akira real quick across the street. It was like, all right, let me just go get an outfit real quick. I'll meet you at the hidden spot. So yeah, no, like I feel like that just attests to like how you live your life too, when you're talking about just freestyling. Like a lot of times, like I do feel like I manifest the night before I go out though, because I know it's like we don't really have a lot planned, but it's about to be a good night.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this Nigeria trip.
The energy is right. You gotta have a good energy about your presence.
Yes.
Expectations and energy are different. Like, I think they're different actually. I think you can put good energy on a trip, but I'm not expecting anything from this trip.
Right.
I'm just grateful to be there.
Yes. Like I just feel like being in the moment. Like we got hella outfits. We don't know what we doing. Like
we don't have an actual plan.
Actual itinerary.
But we're prepared for anything that might be thrown our way.
If somebody be like, okay, listen, we going to Ghana tomorrow and then we gonna come back the next day. Like we are ready to go. Like, so yeah, no, I feel like you just gotta live. That's how life be fun. Literally. Okay, so let's talk about LA. What was the move like moving from Chicago to LA? What like made you do it? That was your first major move.
It was.
What inspired you to do so? Do you feel like you just outgrew Chicago? And like, what were some of the challenges and the rewarding moments of doing that move?
So to be completely transparent, I like the mountains in LA. Like anytime people are like, why do you move to LA? It's nothing deeper. It's literally, I like mountains. It's pretty. There's water. It's
I like
peaceful.
Texas because it's hot. I understand.
Basic answers. Like it doesn't have to be because of a job. It doesn't have to be some life plan. Like you just felt like it, but that isn't like that came later.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, transparently, I had got laid off during the pandemic and was on that little reward system that was happening with the unemployment and all that. And I actually built the biggest savings that I ever had in my life from being unemployed and other aspects of it. So when I finally was in that position and I saw that I had flexibility, and I may have also always wanted to have a cousin, shout out Cosign, who's been in LA. He is in the music industry, still in the music industry. He showed me a lot early on about having a good time in LA, working hard. So I also knew that I had that base there. So once I had the financials to also support that, I said, why not? And it was probably the most unplanned. Like, I like to do things unplanned, but like I really, mind you, I didn't have that 10-month savings saved up. I just had enough. It was just enough to ship my car, pay that down payment, that rent, and we were going to figure it out then. I had a remote job also that I could then work over there. So that was like a base because that 9 to 5 comes in handy when you need to do life changes like that.
Big facts.
And yeah, it was a very spontaneous move. I signed an apartment unseen from a little video, and
I do it all the time.
I'm
It's a
still
hit or
at that
miss.
apartment to this day, 3 years later. So literally one of the best choices I made. I've moved there uncertain of what was going to happen, uncertain of my finances, going with the vibes. Within a month and a half in, I had like doubled my salary just off of the culture there.
The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yeah, it was fun.
So true.
Everyone, if you want to move, just do it. You can always move back home. That's all I tell people.
Always can move back home.
Home is not going anywhere.
People are so afraid to just leave, and I'm just looking like, okay, well, you stay where you at because
that's the fun part. It's okay to be uncertain sometimes,
and it's okay to go back too. Like
it's okay to. That's because people get caught up in their pride and being embarrassed. But that does not matter because you're still more brave than the person that never tried. So what are we worried about other people?
No, for sure. I remember like just being like, Ashley, you should have been moved to LA. Like you've always been.
I
like,
wanted to. Yeah, I'm a little
LA
Cali girl.
You're like been like your whole vibe is like I seen you today. And I was like, you look like LA.
And we love it. And mind you, Chicago is a beautiful place. Like I'll come back. I'll buy property in Chicago. I still love Chicago. Like my family's still here. I'm not throwing Chicago under the bus, but like. And mind you, it's not even Chicago. It could be the hometown theory of like sometimes you just need to leave your comfort zone, your space to elevate, to learn something new, and then you can always go back home. But like you got to expand yourself sometimes.
No, yeah, I feel like we're similar when it comes to like our homes are like comfortable. Like I always tell people, if I go back to my house, it's like the hotel. My mama cooks, she clean. The sheets are already changed before I get there. Ashley go back to her old room. Like it's
peaceful.
A very peaceful, comforting environment. However, it doesn't like push you to grow. Like it doesn't push. Like at least me going back home, it doesn't push me financially to do anything.
Well, also our personality types. I feel like one, there's A, B people, and it's okay. My mom is an A person. My dad is a B person. There's a lot of people that would be okay in that comfort, and that's good for them. We're people that have always wanted more.
Yeah.
So
no,
that's
real.
where we kind of needed to push ourselves to do more.
No, that's real. What challenges do you feel like you've had since moving to LA? Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm trying to think. I feel like this is where like going with the flow happens. Like I don't look at anything as a challenge because anything that has like challenged me or that I've been puzzled about or confused about. I done been laid off at jobs. I broke my leg in LA. I've had friends in and out of LA. But like every single one of those moments has like led to the next opportunity. So like that might sound generic, but like nothing is a challenge. Like it just is a moment that you're like pausing and reflecting and being like, where am I being redirected at right now? I feel like to be in LA, you have to have a certain personality type. I feel like people go there and sometimes don't feel like they like fit in, belong, can find their circle. But like people like me. I've been saying this my whole life. People like me. I'm nice, but I don't be liking people, and I'm very selective on how I choose about people around me.
I feel like we're the same when it comes to people be wanting to be our friends, but they don't know what comes with it. Like,
and I'm selective. Like you curate the vibe, people around you. If you're not curating that, no one else is going to. So like I've had really good experiences because I'm picky. Like I'm only letting certain people even enjoy this presence and energy. So
it be people at Ashley DMs. If you watching this and you the person at Ashley DMs, just get out of it.
Because if I wanted to respond, I would have responded. I don't understand.
It be like females and Ashley DMs, like how niggas being like your DMs trying to kick it with her, and it's just like
I don't get it. They think I'm so sweet, and I'm so sweet. Like I'm very cordial. But I'm selective when it comes to my friends. If I ain't never called you a friend, please pay attention to that small detail.
But y'all don't even know Ashley is a terrorist, number one. She's a menace. She's your biggest, like, supporter hater. Like, if you want somebody to hold you accountable, like, Ashley is literally the bug on your shoulder that will not go away.
That I am.
But, yeah, no, it's because we be looking like a good time, and we are. But it's also, like, nobody's taking applications at this age.
No. And mind you, there are moments where we meet new friends. I feel like we both went through that recently with our moves. Both with our moves being in new environments, out our comfort zones. But we're selective, and it's a process to get to that point. But I will say that I think it's awesome when, like, people our age, beautiful young 30s, but, like, you can meet new relationships that are just as important as your old ones. I think that's, like, a good shout out because I know we both have new friends that are like, no, this person's going to be there for the next 20, 30 years, whatever. Like they're real. So
No, I feel the vibes. I love Ashley Little LA life. It's real. I'm in LA.
It's very extra. It's very spontaneous.
It's very spontaneous. It's always like
unplanned.
You never know what's going to happen. So if you're watching, like if you're on her Instagram, they'll have your Instagram plugged. But like it's just inspirational, I think, too. I remember like the first time when we went in spring break and we went to go visit her cousin that does music out there. And like where we were, it was just like, I know her eyes was open. My eyes was open like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new like life or new level that we haven't even touched yet. Like we're not even in the environment yet.
You don't know what to obtain if you've never seen it. So I'm also a big believer in that. Like you need to be exposed to new levels, things you never imagined could exist, because how am I supposed to dream of that if I've never seen it?
Right.
And LA will give you that every day.
No, that's real. So let's go back. You mentioned about how you got laid off during the pandemic, but you recently had a layoff as well. How has that grown your entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so let's just say I financed this whole Africa trip while being unemployed. So like it's been real out here, but I've been laid off for about like 3-4 months now. And the thing about me, it can be a toxic trait, but the second that I'm presented with a problem or a challenge, I immediately go into like fix mode. Like I don't mope, I don't get sad. I might go like MA for like 24 hours and like go in my room, my door closed. Like when we lived together, there was probably like 2 times where I closed that door, was gone to the world. But when I came back out, we were fine. I don't really like to talk about it. Like
you don't like to talk about things
ever. No one's really gonna know what I'm going through, to be honest.
See, if I'm in my room, hell has frozen over. But like
pure depression.
I'm in pure depression. But if you in your room, we like, all right, I'll come back tomorrow morning.
So like it's those moments, like when I got laid off, I think one, it was a moment that I was more unexpected. Like mind you, the economy was rough. It's not even a layoff to anyone's fault. Like it was just a tough year for like everyone, to be honest. Businesses, everything. So like that was the fair part about it. But my initial reaction to getting laid off was, okay, what am I gonna do next? So literally that one thing, children, to keep in mind is that I'm always have that 9 to 5, and as I said earlier, I'm always have that side hustle because I don't trust my income only coming from one place.
Right.
So throughout my whole career, I've always had multiple options, at least 2 or 3. So with this new development, I think I kind of like dove in because I think the layoff shocked me. I wasn't like as prepared, so I kind of like went into hustle mode, and I put in the energy that I needed new clients. I needed to do retention marketing for independent people, people just not outside of these larger brands. And if you ask, they will come. And I kind of loaded up and overloaded up and went into hustle mode and was literally making my same salary that I was making from my job within the first 30 days that I was laid off. Then some.
Is this all under creative consulting?
Merchant consulting.
Okay, so what did you do your LLC? Because this is what you talk about. Like you put something out there, and Ashley don't like she flex, but she like a very humble flex. Like you gonna see that Van Cleef on her arm, and you gonna know the money is being made. But she doesn't do it like she'll post in like her close friends, like some different offer letters, just like it's inspiration. But you don't even see like behind the scenes how much like your business has actually grown from like the first day like you put out your logo saying that you were doing consulting. So how has that like leveled up? Like has there been any like highlights in your work with like any major client that you feel like you've been able to work with or like?
Yeah, I have a lot of new opportunities now. Even I was on a call before we got here where I'm literally like maxed out for any additional opportunities right now because I don't have the capacity, which is a blessing to be able to say that. But I think even this past year, I've worked with a couple clients, a couple Black-owned brands that have been amazing. And we were just doubling, tripling, quadrupling their revenue from the year before. And like when you're doing that well, the client, you're building relationships, they're happy with you, and you just feel accomplished. And then the clients give you free products, and then that's my little reward on top of that.
You can go ahead and mail it over here.
We love that. We love that. But no, there's been a development. I think to the point where I'm like turning down clients now. I think like that's the biggest compliment that anyone working independently can get.
Yeah, that's literally a goal, like for sure. So let's talk about outside of digital marketing. So I know you dibble and dabble in the industry. We're always trying to figure out, are you going to stay in the industry? What are you going to do with it? Because I feel like it's always been like an opportunity for you whereas like other people are still trying to break into it.
Yeah.
Like you've always kind of had that avenue if you wanted to take it.
I feel like, again, the industry is who you know. I luckily have a family member that was in there. There's no, you guys are looking for that sugar-coated answer. Like, if you work hard, like, yes, that still happens. But you also need to know people. So move to LA if you want to get in the industry. Move to New York. Put yourself in the places, in the rooms where you can actually access that. But the industry is something I've dibbled and dabbled out of. I've done managing work. I've done consulting. I feel like the space that I've been in right now is more of this, again, creative consulting role where artists and their management teams and everyone is coming to me to collaborate, come up with ideas, talk about the videos, talk about the merch line, talk about the product, and see how the consumer would look at it from like a consumer point of view. And it's like a very fun, it's my fun space. That's like the work that I can do all day and it doesn't feel like work, which is why I can do multiple things at one time. So I feel like we'll see. Who knows? At this point, again, freestyling through life. Who knows? In another year, I could be fully more in the industry. I think I always have a foot in there, but I wouldn't be mad if that developed more because it's just a very free zone.
Okay. So has there been any crazy experiences working in the industry that you're not on an NDA for? Because we don't need to sue this show.
In respect of the Savage Season podcast, we will keep those stories for the BTS end of the year episode that comes out later on.
No, that's super dope though. I think that like life is just all about experiences, but I think the opportunities that have opened for you is definitely comes from like your energy and just like your personality and being able to just network. Like we talk a lot about networking, I feel like, on this podcast and who you know and not working so hard. Like
it's all about work smarter, not
it's
harder.
all about relationship
I'm
building.
You guys, it's relationship building. Learn from people who are making more money than you. I still be the brokest person in the room. And mind you, I'm the brokest person in a lot of rooms. But I think I've done well for myself. I think I'm successful. And for me to still be the brokest person in the room, like I kind of like it though, because it's like, damn, if I'm at the bottom, that means I could be doing so much more than everyone else around me. And if it's the right people around you, they're eager to teach you, to put you on. I remember one of the first people in LA. I wanted to move to this apartment that was like $4K a month, and I was like freelancing for them, and they were like giving me clients and blah, blah, blah. And like, I was like, you know what? Like, I would love to live here. And that man looked at me and said, okay, I'll give you 4 more clients so that we can bump you up. It was like that easy. He was like, okay, let me give you the money. Work for it. You want it. You claimed it. Okay, here's the clients. And I was like, I asked and I received. Like, you just have to open up your mouth sometimes and not be too prideful, be vulnerable, tell people your goals. That's always my personality. Like, again, I think like my openness and like people feeling comfortable to talk to me has opened up like a lot of doors.
That makes sense. So we don't have a plan for next year. The only thing that we haven't touched on, is there anybody that we maybe romantically?
In respects to the Savage Season podcast, we will probably never recap on that because I am a Scorpio. So we're going to keep that private. Let them wonder.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens next in terms of a love life. She's like open. I will say, like, you're kind of consistent when it comes to like your privateness. She's not just like not private to you guys. She's also not like, she also is very conservative about what she wants to share and when she wants to share it.
Everything is a plan. Everything's a strategic plan.
Right. So like you're freestyling through life. However, in that little brain,
still curated. It makes sense to me that everyone else is trying to freestyle. There's still logic behind everything.
No, but I think it's good though, because it's also like because I think too, like when we like introduce things too early, like then we have the letdown or disappointment of our friends. And then it's like,
which is also okay. Like no one owes you anything.
Yeah.
But I'm private until I just like to move a certain way. If you know, you know.
I be prying it out of her.
If you know, you know. If you don't, you never will.
I'm crying. So do you have anything that you want to say to just inspire people that you haven't said? Like, what would you like to leave this podcast with viewers, like knowing or feeling or about Ashley?
About Ashley or about
Ashley and in life?
About me is that I'm going to always move to the beat of my own drum. I'm can't say that word. Unapologetically
Me,
myself. And I,
Savage season.
Always, you're either gonna love it or hate it, but everyone always comes back and around.
That part, always spinning the block.
I feel like always just be yourself, stay consistent, be the weird girl in the room, be the one that people don't understand, be the quiet girl, be the one frolicking. I just started horseback riding lessons. Do what you want to do. There's no rules to this life.
Are you in the stockyard or are you at the equestrian?
I'm in Malibu and Calabasas with my lessons. Thank you.
We are biggest haters.
But just do you. Be independent. Like, don't rely on anyone else. We want to, anything you want, do it for yourself. Everything else will come to your feet when you're ready and taking care of yourself first. Love yourself first. Career-wise, motivation-wise, put yourself out there. Be afraid to fail. Understand that money is phenomenal, but there's more to that. There's more joy to be found outside of finances. And just strive to be the best. Strive to be the best. If you don't think you're the best, if you don't think you're the baddest in the room, like, who else is going to believe that?
Exactly. No, period. And that's why we friends, period.
Like, one thing we going to do, we can fake it till we make it.
One thing we going to do is fake it till we make it.
Because guess what? You make it. Like, I feel like you got to really believe it. You got to believe the delusion a little bit sometimes, because then you're there and then you make it.
We've been deluded for a long time.
And it's worked out.
And it's
so
worked out.
well.
So, life has been so much fun. Like, it's just been amazing. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Again, this was a very special podcast with Ash. Oop, I'm messing back on the mic. But it was very special. I've also known Ashley since we were 12, 13, 12.
Unfortunately,
I'm gonna leave the viewers with of how we met each other. I know they're please end the podcast. But no, me and Ashley met, and shout out to Oak Park. We met in middle school. Our names were right next to each other in gym class. So I've known her since she was a little Panamanian kid.
Okay. Because Merchant and Mystic just happened to be
Merchant and
next
Mystic. And yeah, so you got to keep them people around you that make sense. So everybody doesn't make it to the end, honestly. But when people make sense in your life and they are going to continue to push you and thrive, support you, and you do the same for them, y'all are both adding value to each other's life. Those are the people that you want to keep around. So this has been Savage Season, the podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Period.
Period.